Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Late Night Legends. I'm your host, DJ DeVille, and we've got some great guests in the building today.
Back, baby. We back.
We got Alex Dreams, Eric Forbes, and Konflikt. Once again, welcome back, Konflikt.
Thank you for having me again.
And so just to kind of set up the conversation, we've actually been on social media talking to all of you guys on social media about what you want to talk about. And it seems like undercutting and also price per gig is a heavy subject right now. The value of a DJ is probably the most disputed and talked about thing that I've seen in all the comments. And I want to talk and unpack all of this with you guys because what is value? What is DJ value from the perspective of the DJ and from the venue or booking party, right? And I guess the first thing I just want to talk about, like we talked about this last time you were on, and I want to start with you on this is, in your definition, what is undercutting?
I think undercutting is when a DJ will come into a space and try to find their way in by reducing the market value of what a DJ is being paid. So like they might not have the right resume, they might not have the talent, but they say, hey, I can make things come out of the speakers that sounds like music and you pay me less. And there are some venues that think that incentive is enough to have the DJ play music for them. Mm-hmm. That's my definition of undercutting. I think that right now in the marketplace, there's an overlap with undercutting and the actual market dynamics of rates. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of DJs might be under the belief that they're being undercut when really the market value of DJs is dropping and DJs are coming in and taking those payments at a lower amount. And then the DJs that were getting paid more are saying, hey, they're undercutting. When really it's the dynamics of the market because we're kind of in a bear market, I think, in the DJ world.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm seeing it not only here in Vegas, but it's everywhere. And there's a lot of take it or leave it situations. Am I right?
Yeah, totally.
And
Vegas is one big take it or leave it town for DJs, I think.
It really is.
Yeah, especially now. More than ever.
Because think about who we were talking to. For people that don't know, I've never dealt with Las Vegas. You're dealing with massive corporate entities.
Yeah.
And but there's no conversations to be had.
At the same time, you're also dealing with one of the number one party hubs in the world. Mm-hmm. So the DJs that are here are very good. A lot of them are very good. So that, I think, also adds to the dynamic that Vegas can say, take it or leave it, because they know what they're going to get eventually is still a good product.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I think one of the biggest problems, too, is, like to add on to what you said, there's so much talent. And there's a lot of agreeable parties that are, and I think that it's built into the conversation that there's some clout benefit to say that you play at Marquee, to play any Towel Group property or any XS property or whatever.
It's the parlay. It's like we take that marketing and then you go to San Antonio or to Dallas or to Scottsdale or to LA or North California. And you say, here's my resume. I'm in Las Vegas and I'm a Las Vegas DJ. And they go, we'd love to have you.
Yes.
Here's a 3, 4, 5x your rate because you have that on your resume. Mm-hmm. So in a sense, it's kind of like taking a short-term pay cut for a long-term goal for a lot of DJs in that space.
As long as you have that in mind. This is something DJs need to understand. You need to understand leveraging and brand leveraging. I mean, Alex has spoken about this in the past, is when you have a residency somewhere, you leverage it elsewhere at the maximum level. And there's a lot of ways to do it, but you still have to have that long game play. You have to be thinking about your monopoly board, right? It's moving on the board. If you're just thinking about, hey, I'm happy at my residency, that could really burn you because eventually all good things come to an end at some point. And, you know, whether it's years or months, you have to have another bounce around. And it's so scary when you just put all your eggs in one basket. So I think that's a really strong thing to consider. And I want to talk about the word undercutting because it's really easy to throw around. Because if you're a DJ that's been somewhere at an X amount of dollars for a certain amount of time and you get stagnant and somebody else comes around that's really active, that's really proactive with their brand, what their messaging is, their social media, all these things that we may love or hate, and they come in at a lower price point, but maybe they have a better negotiation. Maybe they did a bulk rate situation. They have multiple dates in place. There's a lot of cards you can throw on the table. And they just had a better negotiation, but price per gig went down, but they made more money per month. And so is that undercutting or is that just good business? What do you think about that?
look, I start laughing halfway through that sentence because you mentioned something that immediately clicked, and it's like DJ ego. It's like when we lose something, just as humans, not just as DJs, we try to find blame, and a lot of the times the blame is external because we can't be responsible for our own faults, right?
Yeah, so there's narcissism there.
Right?
Yes.
Right.
Totally ego.
So if something goes sideways, the first thing I do is say, what did I do to cause this? Did I do something to cause this? Not what did I do? Did I do something? What could I have done differently? Right? So if there's a DJ that comes in and takes my job, all right, the market has spoken. The relationship between that DJ and the club has spoken. Mm-hmm. Now, what did I do to facilitate that? Did I do anything to facilitate it, or was it out of my hands? You could immediately to throw out the undercut card is like to absolve yourself of responsibility of anything that's going on.
So it's like DJs, did you undercut yourself?
Yes.
Yeah, true.
That's my argument, right? It's like they don't think, I don't think they're investing enough in themselves. They're not providing enough value. So if I could just get Eric Forbes over Konflikt for a couple, a different dollar amount, then why not? I'm gonna get almost the same product. It's at that point, it's a business decision as an operator. Like, you lost the job. He didn't take it from you.
Yes, it sucks from my position if that's what happens. But realistically, like, let's put this into I like practical, simple terms, right? In Vegas, there's a lot of DJs that are in a very high tier. Right? So whether you have DJ A or DJ B, the party's going to be relatively the same. Mm-hmm. So that being said, if DJ B decides I'm going to go for broke here and ask for 10 gigs per month at 400 instead of 7 gigs at 500, right? They might be in a space where they can command that, and then the company says, you're on, because the difference between all the DJs at the end of the night is not enough to warrant paying extra. I mean, Alex is an operator.
I'm right there with you.
Right. Yes. So at one point, the traveling DJs, right now traveling domestically is like in the toilet. But it used to be like DJ Politic, DJ 5, DJ Ruckus, DJ Vice. I would add myself to that list. Those like top tier, if I can include myself humbly, into that space, whether they had one or the other, in my opinion, musically, we were all really great. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, it would come down to marketing or price
and also
factors.
Just brand perception. Like, oh, you're great for this type of party. We kill it with this genre. We want that for this party, etc.
Sure.
So that's why there's merit in individuals. But the value is the same on that playing field.
On a musical playing field, I would say that none of us are doing something. Obviously some have little niche things that are like, oh, this is really cool that DJ does that. But overall, I think the nights would not have changed 20%, 30%. Your gross wise. I mean, Alex, a club owner, can attest, right?
Yeah, and relatively the same. Shit's just gotten so crazy, like the expenses. It's like you're paying licensing, security, insurance. We talked about it last time, man. And a DJ's upset because I'm choosing a DJ that's $100 less. And it's like, if you're providing more value and you're earning that, if it's like you said, if it's so easy for me to make that decision, then you should take a little self-reflection.
Right.
I've always you never want to be that DJ that somebody has that red line circled in your name, like, we're paying this guy too much, or you know what I mean, and you start getting expected more of. You would rather to over deliver, and be
under promise and over deliver.
And over deliver in a lot of aspects. So I think we all kind of have to check ourselves on how much
but also
we
when you
demand
say
we'd like to get for rates and stuff like that.
But also when just from a DJ's advocate standpoint, when does it become too much of an ask? Because now I'm noticing there's instead of having 2 DJs in a day at so you got an opener and a closer and then a middle headline guy. Now all of a sudden they're asking the headline guy to play all day for less money.
Right.
And is that turning into abuse of talent, abuse of your situation as an owner? That's one of my concerns now.
You can say no, right?
But then somebody's going to say yes.
Somebody else is going to say yes.
Yeah, because
but that's the market, guys.
That's the market.
Yeah, but here's a question: what about labor laws? Are DJs included in labor laws?
No, dude. No. First of all, time
that's
out.
Crazy.
DeVille, I'm about to flip this table, dude. Labor laws, my friend. We break it down to money per hour.
Yeah,
dude. We make lawyer money, first year resident doctor money,
Yeah, but it's weird, when you're not even sometimes you get frowned upon for having to run to the bathroom. Yeah, I'm working 7 hours. Like, can I take a break real quick?
You need to tell Alex to calm down at Bottled Blonde, because that's kind of crazy, Alex.
No,
like, let him do that.
The DJ booth is not OSHA certified.
Yeah. I need my OSHA map, bro.
You got to unionize.
You tall guys.
Yeah, I need 36-inch level tabletops. But where is? Because also there's a little bit of a threshold of suffering of energy. Like if you're working for a 6-hour shift, are you going to deliver the same quality performance if you did a 2-hour in and out?
Probably not. But there's ways that you can mitigate how much you're losing as a talent. Like when artists go on tour, is it easy to do a 3-hour concert and run up and down the stage? No, but they get into shape for that. So like, just like they can do that, you can get into performance shape where you're exercising, eating right, setting your day up to be able to perform at the most amount possible. Now, if you find yourself at a limit, it's okay to communicate, in my opinion, and say, hey, I'm having a great time, but 6 hours is too much for me. Is there any way we could break it down to 4? I could try to hire an opener. Is it okay if I hire an opener? Then you set out on Instagram and say, hey, I would like to start a challenge for anyone that would want to open for me. It doesn't pay that much, but it's a foot in the door. I can't do 6 hours, but I can do 4, and I'll mentor you, and you can make a small paycheck while we work this out. There are ways around. So
it's like essentially a sublease gig.
Well, but we're subcontractors.
Yeah. And some people will be like, this is too much of a hassle. This conflict guy is too much of a conflict.
Sure.
Yeah.
That could be it, but then that venue might not be for me.
True.
Yeah.
Because if I explain to you as a DJ, as a performer, it's like if our relationship is every week, and I go, Alex, 6 hours is too much for me, I need to do 4. How can we break it down? Here are 5 options.
I would understand.
If I present with you if I complain and go, I can't do it, I only want 4, that's a problem, right? But if I go, here's A, B, C, and D on options. Pay me this much less, hire this person, figure out a way to split it, let me do a contest to get DJs in the door. You'd be like, oh, I like these 2 options, see how this works. I'd be like, great, I'll come back with some results, right? Here's another thing, going back to like taking a DJ for $100 less. If I'm to my gig half an hour early and I go, hey Alex, I'm here half an hour early, everything looks good, I tested the speakers, everything is great. And then after the gig I go, Alex, there was one time where I played this song and the crowd did this and I wasn't sure about it. What are your thoughts? Were you there or you didn't hear it? Oh, I'll ask around. And I ask the staff and I go, and I get you a report. Maybe not a written report like something super professional.
At least a text.
But something, right?
I do.
Something.
There's a couple guys that do that.
So I do all this, right? And then a DJ comes in and goes, hey, Alex, I want to play and I'll charge you half what Konflikt does. You'd be like, whoa. That value that I'm getting from that other DJ is way too high. Like, you're just going to come in here and play music? No, thank you.
But see, are those guys doing it like, is it those guys that are asking the little amount, guys that are maybe just starting out on DJ and just want to get their foot in the door, and they see the social media thing and they see all us guys playing big clubs and want that aspect of it, and they're just trying to get in any way they can. I mean, I've seen guys say that they want to play for free and stuff, but it's like the talent doesn't match.
But also so with his scenario, essentially being a sublease gig booker, that gives these foot in the door guys a chance to audition. It takes more hours off your clock as a performer.
Right.
But it also gives you more work because now you are a subcontracted music director.
Yeah, and you're
so now you have another job,
making sure they're doing the right thing.
Yeah, dude,
so
you pick your poison, dude.
But that's what I'm saying.
Less or do a little bit more work. Like,
but that's the thing. I mean, we automatically got handed more work at a lower rate, and these are things that we have to modulate. And because obviously in your position you have an agency, and that's part of your job description.
Sure.
I don't have an agency, but that just sounds to me like more work.
I promise you we're doing the same thing for each other. Like whatever you're doing for DeVille, I'm doing for myself, and I'm doing on the side for other DJs as well. Yeah. No one's calling and going, hey, we need DJs all the time. It's like we have to reach out all the time. If I don't if I just sit in my house and wait for an email or a call, I won't work. It just won't.
Being proactive is obviously part of the description, but like me all of a sudden taking care of other DJs and making sure that they get an opportunity, that's a new situation.
Yeah, dude, but you find a responsible guy that wants it really badly. At the end of the day, you could start building a stable of responsible DJs that play good music. And then if you have an emergency or there's an opportunity that comes up, you put these younger guys in place. Like, that's kind of our responsibility, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, it's turning into it. Like, for the longest time, that was not even a thought in my head. I didn't have to worry about those things.
Sure.
And these are new, I guess, mature DJ, because I think just from a proactive culture standpoint, that's a noble thing to do regardless. But from a business standpoint, it's responsible to do. It's smart. And yes, you have like a stable, especially if you work in a larger metro area and there's a lot of variables, that's a really great situation to have. And then obviously if it evolves into a culture thing for a business culture thing for you, it can turn into an agency type of organization, business minded. That's great.
Sure.
But it is a lot of responsibilities, and it's not for everybody. Not everybody has those skill sets or the bandwidth. So that's where it really starts to thin the herd out too, and that's kind of a concern. But it's also a good observation to be aware of, just as a DJ. Period.
I think in this market, you have to maximize all angles. So I'm sure there's been a time where they've contacted you and you've been like, I can't, I already have a gig booked, right? Has that happened? And has it happened to you? Yeah. If you had a younger understudy, a DJ that you're mentoring and helping, be like, I do have this guy, and you could potentially pay him slightly less than my rate because he's somebody that I'm mentoring. I can take care of the invoicing, and then you tell your underling, your trainee, you tell him, hey, I'm going to take a small percentage for doing all of these things, and you're going to get paid. And if you do a great job, they might keep you. Yeah. What do you like that idea? They go, fantastic. Thank you for getting me in. Now, are you starting an agency? No, you have a DJ friend that you're helping. Yeah. And then now you're taking over certain bureaucratic responsibilities on the back end.
Yeah. And you're also helping the club out as well, too. And that looks good on you as well.
That's money. So I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good. You're good.
That's money that would not have been in your pocket because I'm busy. I'm a lone wolf. I'm a superstar. Can't do that one. I already got one. No, man. Spread that love around.
So that's a little bit of coattail currency. So they're kind of riding in through your reputation a little bit. You're co-signing them.
Exactly.
You get a little benefit, and obviously they get some huge benefit because now they got a door.
Right.
They actually have a door. So, and that's not undercutting. That's actually good business, because now you're in control of a lesser cost DJ up front, and you have a little bit more of control of that situation. And that's a really, really smart move. I mean, that's using your DJ and business IQs at the same time.
And being a philanthropist in our positions, like it can't always be me. Because you leave too much money on the table. Right. Like, look at the team Alex has. Alex, you build a team.
Gang.
You build a team around you. You have you find the best videographer that fits you, right? And you find somebody. It's like that's responsible that you can call upon, that you can trust. It's like that's my guy, and he goes on payroll. You find a good manager. It's like you're my guy. He goes on payroll. So you're delegating a lot of these responsibilities, so you don't have to be on top of everything.
Correct.
Because why? You set up your systems.
Yep.
It's
all systems.
It's all about systems. That's what Alex always says. Maybe finding a way to have a small collective of DJs that are not all on your same level is something that guys out there, girls out there can do that might be beneficial in this market.
This is just me being toxic as a DJ right now. Is it kind of like, how hot girls always keep ugly friends around? So they look hotter.
I don't know.
So is it better or smarter as a really great DJ to make sure you have lesser skilled DJs around you to make sure you look even better? Would you think that's a smart move, or is that just being toxic?
This is being toxic. This is a very wrong way to look at it.
Yes.
You can't imagine if I thought about that with the guys on Club Killers, right? Instead, it's like I'm over here. Everything is value exchange, right? Yeah. Every relationship is transactional to a certain point, but it's I set up a platform for all you guys to grow.
Absolutely,
You're only as good as the team around you.
Yeah.
And it's just brought me up and kept me here since 1996.
Yeah.
Because I've provided value to so many people, and people appreciate it. And I just didn't want to be the guy.
Like what Konflikt mentioned also, if you're getting DJs in there and they're growing to get better, as a club owner, as a manager and something like that, they're going to trust your input so much more that, number one, you're a great DJ, but then you led them in the right direction on getting somebody else, and the people you're bringing in are good talent. It's like just makes all your value.
Because realistically, if you bring in a poo-poo DJ, it's just it's going to hurt you.
Totally.
At the end of the day.
Your reputation as somebody that presents people is very important.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And not just for the venue, but also because if that DJ that you put on today, let's say that you work only on the strip and you have things off strip that contact you, but you send that DJ to.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, at some point, that DJ grows and starts getting things that you go, wow, that's really cool. He goes, I'll put you on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Because eventually that vine grows.
There's a value exchange. But in regards to the specific undercutting, because I know that there was a lot of commentary about this.
Yes. It's a constant question.
Going back to the market rates, I can just tell you guys, the money is just not there. Look at any graph you want about the way people are drinking in this generation, and the graphs all point downwards. And what do we sell at the nightclub besides an experience? Alcohol. Because you can't cash a check that says experience this amount of money. It's like, no. We sell booze. We sell a door, right? To get in through the door, you have to pay admission sometimes, right? I don't know if you sometimes. And then they buy alcohol, they might buy food. But if they're not spending money, there's no money to pay out people. And if there's no money to pay out, then you cannot say, I'm more valuable. It's like, no, you're not. I'm sorry to tell you guys this.
Well, actually, I have a question for Forbes on this because, we all know that Vegas follows the extremes of these markets, highs and lows, right? And you've been through a bunch of them now. You've been out here a long time. We're talking about the take it or leave it markets. Just knowing what we're going through now and like back all the way back to 2008 when that crash happened, like how do you deal with the take it or leave it markets and what do you do to be proactive?
I think, the way I look at it is you can complain about it, but what's complaining doing? It doesn't do anything about it. My philosophy on it, and I think a lot of us are, it just makes me want to hustle more. It just means I have to work more to get more gigs. And you see the guys that are really doing that in Vegas and other markets. It's like their calendar is just stacked. And it might not be the rate that you want, but you're trying to get that rate by just more gigs. And so that's at least what I've been trying to do.
Well, and more means relationships too. Not just more money, but more relationships. Because what that means is when somebody changes positions, that happens a lot in the city.
For sure.
And in a lot of big metro areas, like one GM moves from one spot to another.
Yes.
They remember you killed it at that spot, and they're going to bring you with them. I hear that story a million times over. And I think,
like the non-glamorous places too to like play. Like, we all need that paycheck money from something. And it's like, we'd all love to play huge day clubs and nightclubs every day. And some of us are lucky and blessed to get able to do that. But then there's also, there's a lot of good money in like the lounges and stuff like that are fun to play and play pretty much the same
during the week too.
The same amount of money during the week. So I really try and go after them. And again, what you mentioned also about managers, you could have a manager that worked at a lounge or whatever, and next thing you know, he's a GM at a club. It's so you're building relationships that down the road, if you're doing what you're supposed to do and building these relationships, those can lead you into more gigs.
Yeah, and just being cognizant of, the whole, you can rise and fall with the tide, but if you're working, you're working. I think that's something you've talked about, like working at whatever the market value fair rate is, means you're still working.
Yeah.
And that's a tough pill to swallow when it goes down, but not everything keeps just going up.
Yeah.
And doing whatever you can to stay relevant in a market, outside of let me ask you this: is like outside of the obvious skill and social media presence and value, what else are you looking for? Like what does a DJ? What are some new things that is being desired from a DJ right now? What do you see maybe trending or future relevancy?
I think being reliable. Being reliable is very, very, very,
that's
very
crazy.
important.
That's a trending
professional
thing.
Professional, reliable, that you have honestly a level of skill that's high enough to keep the venue performing where it needs to perform. Mm-hmm. So there's a very big gap between the guys that can do that and the newer guys. Mm-hmm. A lot of the newer guys just don't have the understanding, because I think that they're not exposed to nightlife like we were exposed to nightlife. I mentioned this on the last podcast, but the top of their hill is a festival. Yeah. In front of a bunch of people, raging, right? But that's not nightlife. Nightclubs don't work off of that premise. Right. So like drilling someone for an hour, 2 hours with hard style EDM music is not going to fly, because people need to breathe. Right. They're not there. They can't walk to another tent or another sector of a festival. It's one room. Yeah. So you have to understand like the psychology of a big crowd in a space where they're trying to have a good time, but not overstimulate them beyond the point of them spending money. And you can't really explain that to a DJ, without them having the experience of doing that. And a lot of them don't take the time. There's been times where I will travel to a city and play music, and the opener goes, "All right, man, I'll see you later," when I'm getting on. And I go, "All right, we'll have a good night."
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, zero curiosity as to why I'm in there, what I'm going to do.
Yeah,
why I'm getting,
I see that a lot too.
Why I'm getting paid more than them.
It's like they're just gig hopping too. And or they're just going home. And so do you think that our generation of DJ, being the club generation that grew up in this, we're not even old. I think we're middle school. We're not old school. That's right. We're middle school. Because do you think we're going to age awkwardly into, like, we're going to be in demand at an awkward age as we get older?
Only if the market maintain the prices that it has now. Because if they fall too low, like if the new metric is 25 an hour for DJs,
there's no way that's
There's no
sustainable.
way.
for us it's not sustainable.
It's not making a
Go
living
get in and
anymore.
out
Yeah.
at that point.
It's
Yeah.
already where it's at is like bare minimum. I feel like right now, after you think about paying taxes and all that, whether you have your personal taxes or you have an S corp or whatever it is,
Right.
you have to think about. There's a lot of business stuff that you have to pay for,
Yeah.
administrative stuff, and all that. And just when you break it down, like what you're actually making, it's not like. It can be not that much, depending on how much
it's brutal,
you're making.
and it starts to hurt, especially when you did make a certain amount and you have to go to a different lower amount. It really hurts, and you have to make adjustments to your lifestyle and how many gigs you take in a month. All these things are taken into account. All right, guys, I want to take a quick break from the podcast, and as a special thank you for tuning in, Late Night Legends wants to offer you guys 15% off at the clubkillers.com store. It's super easy. All you got to do is go to clubkillers.com, go to the store, pick out your favorite merch, and when you go to the checkout window, enter the code LateNight15. Thank you guys for watching. Let's get back to the podcast. And that really is shrinkflation, because I got called out on a comment because I used the word shrinkflation incorrectly previously, because it's just deflation when I was talking about the cost of everything going down or what you're getting paid. But shrinkflation is when things keep going up in price, but you get paid less. That's the inversion, and that's shrinkflation. As far as I know, you could correct me. I think that's the actual definition. But when you're dealing with the teeter-totter happening at the same time, that really hurts. And I just sent you a link yesterday, actually talking about the graph of consumption.
Oh yeah, the alcohol.
We are at the all-time lowest surveyed consumption of alcohol ever.
Congratulations, America! You're a lot healthier. But
Yeah, it's like now it's just the big fitness takeover. I mean, which is great. Like it's great for everybody to be healthy and all that stuff. We need to just make a gym. DJ
I'd like to
gym
take this moment, however, to tell everyone out there that you should drink more. You should buy more bottles and come out to the nightclub and spend a lot of money on tequila and drink a lot of it, if you so choose to do so.
It's health food.
Even like the bottle thing is definitely just like,
That's dead.
So it's
The
dead.
bottle service is dead.
It's just so like
It's dead. I presented in our meeting this week for Yoast. I was like, hey guys, let's just do like $300, and everybody's mind went like this, right? Like $300 bottle specials of Don Julio 70. They're like, what? How are we going to do that? Why would we do that? And I was like, nobody's buying them.
yeah.
And you know,
And
you're
find out what the
in my head,
market-
you're viral reel about just selling more quantity at a lower price.
Yeah.
And I was like, come
Because
on,
what's
guys.
a bottle of booze like? It's a bottle of Tito's costs
pretty much the
$27,
the
and they sell
regular
it for
price.
$700 on the strip.
Right.
It breaks
There's a
down.
little room to move.
Totally.
There's a lot of room to move. The problem is, I feel like I think a lot of places think if they drop their prices, they're going to be hard set, and it's
Ghetto.
like,
It's ghetto. This place is going to be a cheap
But
place
then
for
also
people
we
to
can
drink.
say that as DJs too. And it's like once you lower your rate, it's hard to get it back.
oh well, if you lower your rate, it's very hard to get it
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, Forbes just had that experience. Kind of we're discussing. If you want to get into it a little bit.
Yeah, I was just when there's times I've made a certain amount of money and I've had to take less. And the way I have to look at it is, do you want to make this amount of money for? I could argue on it and be like, okay, I can fight, and do I want to take this amount of money for this long, and maybe 6-8 months, or do I want to take this amount of money for maybe a couple years? And it's like having to weigh that balance on that. And
Yeah.
I've had to do that. I think we've all had to do that in our career.
Because you have some really great relationships in this town, so there is a little bit more of a conversation. Some people
Yeah.
don't have that luxury, because it's just a transactional conversation. Like, hey, do this or don't do it.
Yeah.
And then if you don't have that relationship, they'll be like, okay, we will just find somebody else. But thankfully, like I know, you have some really great relationships and amazing
most people
reputation in this town. So
they've taken care of me everywhere I go. I've had people that I've gotten bumps on money every year for places I played, and I've never had that ever.
That's amazing.
And that was been super rare. And those were relationships that I've met a long time ago, guys that I met and just taking care of me, taking me to every casino that they've went to, and consistently gave me more money.
Yeah.
Which is wild. But then I've had other people that it just can be take it or leave it. Not that the relationship is bad, but it's just like that's all they can do.
Because obviously there's a huge bureaucratic chain, and they're saying that's all they can do.
Right, exactly.
And what are you going to do? You can't bark at 15
I mean,
executives.
I can complain about it, but it's like there's only so much you can complain about it also to become where you become a nuisance, and they're just like, well, fuck this guy. We'll just get somebody else.
Yeah.
That's somebody that's going to be happy with that amount of money. And so there's a lot of...
And most guys don't understand it. I just got two guys that are my normal residents gave me $100 pay bump. But it's been 3 years. They deserve it. They've been there. They've loyal, and they've learned. They haven't grown on their own thing. That's another thing. You said reliability, right? Mm-hmm. They're reliable. But another thing that I look at, and people don't understand how many DJ Instagram profiles I look at a week, right? For the Bottle Blonde stuff, for the Yo stuff, for people that are signing up to Club Killers. Mm-hmm. And one of my biggest problems with DJs that I always look at, and it's a turnoff right away, is them posting flyers. All they post is flyers, so it just tells me you don't understand social media. Mm-hmm. You're not creating reels and content like how you are now. Yeah, it's not engaging at all. So that's a big red flag to me. And I know it has, and it's like I have the devil and the angel, right? The owner and the DJ. So it's like, oh man, I shouldn't be judging them on their Instagram, but yeah, I have to, because you're gonna provide. I know this guy's gonna provide less value to me, mm-hmm. which is unfortunate.
I like what he was talking about, also about like being reliable, but there's also another thing when you were talking about rocking the club and all that. It's consistency also. You need to be able to do it, but you need to be able to do it every night that you're there consistently. That is what gets you your brand, who you are as a person, known that like anytime we get this guy in here, he's going to be great. And I think that just comes more with seat time playing places, mm-hmm. but consistency is definitely key.
And consistently changing your set.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keeping it fresh and consistent.
That's a big changing red flag. Like, okay, now this song's going to go up. I know your all your mini sets. I shouldn't know your mini sets.
Right.
I've had this self-imposed chip on my shoulder my entire career. Like whenever I saw other DJs doing stuff, I was like, why not me? So it forced me to like push myself. Now, there's a lot of DJs that might look at me and the career I've had and go, what are you talking about?
This guy's a psycho.
Right? This guy's a psycho. But I look and I see like somebody get something with like Pioneer and I go, I can do better. And now it's like, how do I maximize what I'm doing to get the next opportunity? And if I can't get that one, I want to get something that's like I can post and be like, oh yeah, you got that? Well, check this out. Right? I'm constantly putting this pressure on myself to perform higher and higher and higher. When I come out here, it's like, guys, there's not a lot of East Coast DJs coming to the West Coast. Like I had residencies in LA, in clubs where like I should not have been allowed to by the politics, because all the DJs could have just looked around and be like, why is this guy from Miami playing in LA? Mm-hmm. Right? But what did I went in there with a chip on my shoulder, like looked for the club owner and I was like, watch this, right? And just like make a show out of what I'm doing. So performing at the highest level is something also, by the way, that this generation might not understand, because the entire scope of DJing is kind of lost, right? They've been aided by technology to go from this song to this song. And a lot of the songs do a lot of things within them, like goes from here to here and it goes up and down, and it's a mashup of this and a mix of that and a bootleg of this. So they never learned to do that live. Whereas when we're performing something like that live, people feel it and see it and they go, that's good. And you do enough, that's good, and they're like, we need you back.
Doesn't matter anymore, though.
But
I disagree with you on the premise of art not mattering. But
I didn't say it like that.
No, but there's a valid point. I see what he's saying is like, what happens?
99% of the crowd doesn't care.
What happens when enough DJs that don't care about DJing numb the crowd far enough down that when a good DJ is on, they don't know the difference because the IQ level's too high, and then all of a sudden middle school and old school DJs just aren't able to be absorbed or appreciated at all. That's when I feel like the parabolic devaluation happens.
Yeah, they see 6 girls dancing behind you and they're like, oh wow, he's killing it. But they see you do this crazy combo wordplay thing that I've seen you do a bunch of times. That one in Singapore with the Red Hot Chili Peppers, it was amazing. And they don't. The 2 DJs in Singapore and myself were probably the only ones that we all looked at each other and was like, did he just do that? But everybody else in the crowd.
I agree with you. But were you part of the crowd?
Yes.
Okay. And
I didn't pay though.
No,
to get in there.
Was that
I was carrying your backpack.
Time.
That's what I'm saying.
I think you bought me dinner, so it was all right. No, the booker was part of the crowd. Yes.
No.
I mean, the booker's there. He's part of the club.
But it's not the demographic.
Is he an important piece of the puzzle to me getting booked again?
Correct.
Did the crowd dance and keep moving?
Yes.
So do you think it was an important metric to me, like performing in front of that booker or not?
You're framing it in a different way now.
I am.
That benefits you here.
Yes, I am.
And now I agree with it. But overall, to me, I don't want to say that the art doesn't matter, because I appreciate it and I love it and I love DJ culture. But overall to 22-year-old Denise or Sally, it's way past their head.
I agree that it's way past their head. What I do think is that if you were to put a curtain in front of the DJ booth and you couldn't see him, most nights would be the exact same. But the problem is now we're getting to a point where they're so much the same, and the bar is so low that when it's just a little bit higher, when there's a little bit of spice sprinkled on the food, people do spend an extra X amount of dollars. That's my belief anyway. I think that there is still value in the performance. There is still something that we can provide as artists in the artistic sector of DJing.
Now I want to bring in James Hype here. If he was doing all that and not recording it and filming it and having a whole social media rollout with it, would it matter? Would it have made a difference in his career?
I would say that before social media, there were DJs that crushed it and were very well known for it, like DJ Kid Capri.
Correct.
Right? So like he didn't have Instagram, but he's always been crushing it.
But that's 30 years ago, right?
And still, time out, because he's still crushing, but go on.
Yeah, but I'm talking about James Hype right now. The time is now, we're in the present moment. If he was doing all that, just how you could do all that, and I've had this conversation with you, and he's not recording it and having a strategy to get that content out.
In today's world,
would he be where he's at?
In today's world, if they can't see it, it doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's why it's so important to, and a lot of DJs don't understand.
But so hold on, time out. So then you agree with me that maybe what I do might not be important the night of it happening, but if I record it and use it, then it is important.
Correct.
So
better than a flyer.
There is a relevance to what we do.
Yes.
Okay. But there's actually some, like, on that note of James Hype, he's kind of being considered a try-hard to a lot of circles because they find out.
I hate that.
No, have you read the YouTube? I'm dead serious. I'm not exaggerating
that's
this
the
at
whole
all.
thing. Remember we were talking about the cringe and the try-hard
Yeah, because there's a lot of people that can't stand his style of mixing.
Like those people to like a museum and be like, Michelangelo carved this out of marble, and then have them go, oh, what a try-hard. It's like, just put those people like upside down.
There's a lot of them.
There's a mouse and that whole feud.
That would be
that's actually a different topic as far as that particular argument. But the way he does things on an exaggerated level, using every tool in the toolbox with the Pioneer gear, and the showmanship of it, it's not appreciated by a lot of different people.
It's so much fun though.
I love it.
It's great,
isn't it? But like, especially the Solomon type fans, people that like Black Coffee and Solomon.
But they're too cool. They're like the too cool.
Yeah, but that's a huge faction of people that don't want to see you doing too much.
So let those people follow the people they like.
Yeah.
But this is the younger generation that's evolving into this. They don't want to see too much.
Great. Then hopefully we will have to deal with them and not have a job anymore. Because if they're like, you guys try too hard when you do good things, it's like, well, you know what? Then fucking.
I mean, it's getting to this
Jesus
point.
Christ.
I mean, it's like, hey, Gatorade has electrolytes. You know, it's literally
also
turning
has cancer.
Listen, that's fine.
I mean,
the pendulum swings, guys.
Yeah,
right now.
But this is where I think you're talking about the spice of a show. I think that's where MCing comes in too. I mean, I love turntablism. I love get down on stuff, but I think the microphone has a significant impact.
It's the whole package.
To an average DJ set, you can add a microphone. All of a sudden, it's an A+ set if you know what you're doing and how to do it correctly. Mm-hmm. I mean, do you use the microphone?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
I was anti for a really long time because we didn't need it. There was like a big European influence in Miami, and in Europe there was like more like house music and EDM stuff.
Yeah.
So like the microphone isn't too big. Also, you have like this big crossover of languages in a lot of European countries. So like if you're partying near a French city that's close to a bordering, somewhere else, you might not all speak French there. So like if you're talking in French, like half the crowd might not understand. So usually like the European parties were mostly music, right?
Yep.
It's more of an American thing to talk on the microphone. I would say like a New York thing.
it's also a London thing. It's a huge London thing.
Well, maybe now.
No, it's always been.
Always been?
Yeah, drum and bass. Like the guy that taught me. The guy that taught me how to shout out to DJ Spenny. I saw him in Shanghai, and it changed my life because I watched him play 7-minute songs, and the way he used those songs. Because I thought it was like, oh man, he's just playing these super long tracks, but he's using them as vehicles for tension, and you're using that microphone work with that tension, and the explosiveness factor Oh, he probably only played 30 songs in a 2-hour set.
That's insane.
But
It's
But he killed everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody's sets were way low on energy compared to his.
And I would say that guy's a tryhard, so let's move on.
When I first started,
Why did you said you started, you didn't use the mic. What was your catalyst?
I didn't either.
Just because this is recorded, I was just kidding. That was a joke. I'm sure that person's, that the DJ you mentioned is great. It was just to
Shout
get
out
a laugh.
Spenny. Shout out Spenny.
Just to get a laugh. So sorry, respect. Your question was, why did I not start with the microphone?
No, but why did you change to use it?
Oh,
what was your
because the
switch
market
over?
demands it.
Yeah, I think I started seeing for me, when I started seeing people, other art like DJs, and maybe we had the same programming, but then when you see what they would do with the mic skills and the more reaction they'd have, and the different ways you could play music to get a stronger reaction, I was like, okay, I can start. I talked about this before, but I always kind of like hid behind the turntables when I first started. And I remember one of like my mentors when I first started DJing told me, he's like, he goes, talking on the mic is like salt on a meal. He goes, a little bit can make it so much better. He goes, but too much, you can fuck it all up.
Oh, yeah.
So there's that fine dance.
Yeah, it's such a good analogy.
Of being able to do that. And like I said, I used to hide behind the turntables. I just didn't really like it. I tried to let the programming work, but then when you see guys, and I play with guys, and I'm like, man, it is like I have to start doing that. And then once I got comfortable, I felt like it made my set so much better.
Yeah. I think it just makes you a well-rounded DJ.
For
if
sure.
you add that into your toolkit, I mean, a little turntablism, a little bit of wordplay, excellent programming, and good mic work. I think that checks every box in my book. For sure.
Big news, the Late Night Legends podcast is getting its own channel. We're moving! On behalf of the entire Club Killers crew, we want to thank you for your support in tuning into our brand new podcast, Late Night Legends. And it's been going so well, we want to dedicate its own channel on YouTube. All right, guys, it's super easy to find. All you got to do is go to youtube.com/@ClubKillersPodcast. And the best part about the podcast having its own channel, you'll find the clips, the shorts, and the full-length episodes all in one place. We appreciate everyone watching the episodes, but right now, only a small percentage of you are actually subscribed. So right now is the perfect opportunity to join the new channel, show your support, and get involved with the conversation with Late Night Legends.
I think in today's party atmosphere, being good on the microphone helps you guide the younger crowd that might not understand what's happening. Like we used to be able to talk. I mean, let me speak for myself. I used to be able to talk just through the music and kind of tell a story musically. And since you didn't start with the mic, you know what I'm talking about. Like you would just kind of guide them and take them to places, and they would kind of maybe subconsciously understand, at least like within the group psychology, be like, oh, we're going up, we're going down. Oh, this is happening, and build tension with like pauses and breaks. But now it's like you have to be more literal. And you have to literally explain to them what's happening, and which I do a lot of times. I'm like, hey, let's get weird when I'm going to drop something that might be a little left field instead of building up to it musically and then just taking the cut.
I think that's made us better, though, because we've learned to, I think programming is still hugely important, and to take people on that journey. When you learn to do that and then you add mic on top of it, instead of maybe not having a strong format and trying to make it better by being too much on the mic. It just, I think building it that way that we did is a better way. I think programming is.
And I know we did this clip about mic work on the Instagram page, and it triggers. It's a really triggering subject. There's a lot of DJs that don't like microphones.
Yeah, and that's cool. That's
I don't know why it's so scary.
Some people, if it's, obviously if you're like a lounge in some, playing some places, maybe these guys, these bar and grills or some places.
No,
that
but there's some
guys
like turntablists, like hardcore programmers. They're really hyper focused on programming.
Yeah.
That's their art form. And it's almost like they look at the microphone as an insult to their programming skills.
Yeah, and that's cool.
That's
their lane.
It's an interesting perception.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I think they're, in my opinion, having a microphone skill set at any level of skill as a DJ, MC/DJ is a hell of a lot more impressive to me than just DJ.
For sure.
In this market, you want to be well versed all around.
Yes.
Because if you get called up and they say we're doing a X brand multi-million-dollar or billion-dollar company, we're doing a corporate party, And part of the gig is to give Sally from accounting a shout out and make sure that people are dancing and that Jeb from HR is aware that this is happening. And like, you're going to not be well versed at one thing and say, no, I don't talk on the microphone. I curate music. It's like,
yeah, that's a big disservice.
Or there
to
could be
yourself.
a venue that they don't want you to speak on the microphone, and you need to have all your DJ skills without the mic.
Right.
And so having a strong
Yeah, because there's a lot of places that disallow microphones because of their abuse of them, or they, there might be noise ordinances.
They get drunk.
And you've been abused to death.
That's what I would used to do. My go-to thing when I would drink, and I wasn't a big drinker, so I would get drunk easily. One of the biggest things that I caught myself doing, I would tell Lou when he would open for me, I'd be like, hey, when I start shouting people out that I see in the crowd, take the mic away from me. That was my
There's
my
so
thing.
many times
But I was just having such a
awareness.
great time. Icon would do it all the time. Way
so
too
many
much.
times in the years I've heard that. Just cut the fucking mic off.
Yeah,
This guy.
Let's go party people.
when I get here, let's go party
Too
people.
much.
Cut it off.
They're like, yeah, we cut it.
One of the other big disservices that DJs do to themselves too is them not having a good time, and I see it so much. It bugs me so much when I see guys up there, and you're the life of the party. I'm supposed to feel your energy, and you're just staring at a laptop, or you look
Serato
so
face?
bored. No, or they're just like bitter and like
Guilty.
I wish
Guilty. Sorry,
yes, I have called him out a couple of times about it.
Have a little more fun, bro.
Yeah,
I'm having a great time, man. When I'm playing
It
music,
doesn't show.
it doesn't show.
It doesn't show.
Yeah, maybe
It just-
I can be like that sometimes too. I'm having fun, but maybe like I have to really tell myself.
I'm 5 songs ahead right now, bro.
Yeah.
You get too
I
like
got it
just
all
in your
mapped
head
out.
of thinking and not like what
But
your
I-
body's actually doing.
Having that self-awareness of body language, that is a huge. You are on a stage. You're conveying that body language. So it really is. That took me a while because somebody told me once I did actually have resting bitch face, and it's not good. I mean, it doesn't make people want to have a good time.
Emotional beings, man.
I mean, it's all those different things. And when we talk about the price of a DJ going down, that begs the question: what else can you provide? Because if you can make up that value of a DJ going down with some added value, your price goes back up. So that's why we got to check all these boxes whenever we can, because it's another offering and another incentive for the people that are cutting the check.
To bookend the undercut talk, I think, number one, look at yourself and see what is happening and what you're doing to allow someone to come in at a lower price. Are you present enough? Are you providing enough value? Are you checking in with the owners or the connection relationship you have in the venue to be able to say, why would you take someone for less money when I provide all of these things above just DJing, right? Mm-hmm. That's number one. Number two, look at the market dynamics. Maybe you need, as a DJ, need to change how much you're charging, because the reality is that the money's just not there as much as it used to be. Mm-hmm. So at least allow there to be a discussion with either yourself or with the venue you're working at and say, hey, I've noticed that you're booking DJs that are cheaper. Is there any chance that I might be cut if a DJ comes in at a lower price? If so, what could I do to prevent that from happening? Communication is very important.
Yeah.
If you can't have that talk, then just be aware that the possibility of you getting cut by someone else coming in for cheaper is always a possibility, right?
Yeah.
So self-accountability, understanding the dynamics of your marketplace, and having communication with who pays you are three very important things, right? And don't just play the undercut card if someone comes in and takes your job. Like, really self-reflect and say, what could I have done to prevent this?
Also, on the flip side, as an owner and a booker, DJ's got to understand the power of no. A lot of guys don't say no enough. They'll just be like, yes, yes, yes. Sometimes you got to say no, but you also got to be ready to be like, okay, well, then I'm going to go with this guy. You have to be ready, but you have to understand branding and adding value to your own brand. And people don't do that. They don't invest anything. And you and I have talked about it and how important it is to invest in your own brand. Make me come to you. And we won't even be having this conversation.
I agree with you. I just think in the oversaturated market, that's a very tall ask of any DJ. To build
But that
something.
should be the goal.
I agree. It should be the goal. It should be something that you're constantly working towards. But I cannot think of a pathway of a DJ to work to a space where they would have Alex contact them and say, I need you as a DJ. Because by that point, they're like, I don't need you, Alex.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's like, this big gap.
But there's going to be a place in that elevation where we might be able to meet.
That's true. That's a good point.
So I think that should be the goal, because a lot of guys are just complaining and not doing enough to invest in their own brand as a DJ, as a producer, as a marketing asset to anybody. I go on your page and you're just like, what is this?
And the keyword marketing asset.
Yes.
We are marketing assets to any single venue. We're not just DJs, because I know the ego gets in the way a lot. The self value that you have as a DJ versus the outward value, marketing asset. That's a huge, huge realization for anyone to understand.
I agree.
And so that I really like that.
Should it be different? Yes. Should we be like just DJs and artists? I think so. But in this game, we're also marketing assets.
But the market, the market says we're marketing assets.
Yes.
And the days of showing up with the Crater Records, that's when you were allowed to just be a DJ.
Yeah.
I think that was the era.
Crater Records, man.
Yeah, that was when you were allowed to just focus on that, because you had to spend all day in a record shop. That's all your time was spent on that. And thanks to technology, efficiency has grown.
Now we do it all.
Yeah, now we can do everything. And actually, that's something I wanted to talk to you real quickly. Because of the convenience of downloading and the speed at which we're able to process music. And now, actually, I wanted to talk to all you guys about this, but Algorithm, that brand that has the DJ software, this all of a sudden has become a hot topic. And I just want to brush on this quickly, but apparently it's a really great software and increasing efficiency. Algorithm has brought out a software that's apparently making a huge wave, and it's causing Serato to upgrade their software and interface very quickly, because apparently the grid system's really good. It's making DJing even easier, more convenient. You can do it on your phone with a little microcontroller. Layback Luke's doing that. He's literally showing up with his iPhone and a microcontroller, and he can do what he used to do on CDJs at a festival. And that in itself is increasing the technology. And do you guys see the accessibility to good software? Will that continue to affect value as a DJ and the perception of value? Do you think that's going to help or hurt?
It always will hurt it, but I think the actual artists, just like live performances and guys like Konflikt and James Hype, their value will go up, because you still want to see that. But it's gonna be a very small percentage. But yes, it will hurt.
As long as it's the guys cutting the checks that see that value, I guess.
I'd let the market decide, honestly. I don't know. Here's how I look at these kind of things when they happen. If the market decides that it has to happen for me to continue having a career, then I'll look into if I want to do what the market's deciding. If the market says, oh, we now play on our iPhones, right? Okay, well, let me figure out if I want to do that. When there was a transition from turntables to CDJs, I made the decision, okay, I guess I'm playing on CDJs now. Mm-hmm. Do I want to keep playing on turntables? Yes. Do I feel like I was better on turntables? Yes.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel about the evolution of streaming for DJs?
Like from their laptop?
Digital service providers. As opposed to having a physical MP3 on a hard drive.
It's an eventuality that everyone's going to do it.
Mm-hmm. Well,
just the same way we went from Wax to Serato.
Yeah, and that took how long? How long did it take for you guys to go from Wax to Serato?
How long?
Full Serato, where you stopped bringing records.
Probably 2 months.
What?
Yeah, I think mine was around that too.
Whoa! And you guys stopped bringing records completely? Yeah, I was still bringing it back.
I would bring like 4 or 5, because before, remember, it was really hard to transition over from another DJ. So you'd have to put on a real record with a needle and swap over that way. So I would still bring like 5 or 6 different records.
I was aware of the technology in 2001. The Incubus's DJ showed it to us at Full Sail.
Kilmore.
Yeah, Kilmore. He was doing the showcase on it, and it crashed when he was doing his promo. Ooh. And we all laughed.
By the way, it used to happen It used to happen a lot, kids. Serato used to crash a lot more.
Yeah, but 54, I remember I worked there, and it was vinyl in the beginning, and then we swapped over to Serato, and I remember in the early days, it was just a lot of crashing through the night.
But we all have 5G on our phones and can do hotspots. So it's going to make it easier and easier. There's no excuse. We can pick up 5G like it's radio waves.
A lot of clubs have Wi-Fi anyway. They have private Wi-Fi.
Or even LAN systems or LAN,
things
whatever.
Are going to be on a locker where just how Spotify, when you're on your plane, you could listen through your music.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. You're not going to need the Wi-Fi. It's already going to be there. Mm-hmm. Access, but how big will that library be? How long will that take? 2027, 2028, where it's convenient enough for DJs to switch over. Have you guys messed around with like BeatSource or anything like that?
I haven't.
I'd have the Apple one where I linked all that to my Serato account, and I mess with it. And I've actually used it. I mean, some of the nightclubs I play, I have like the
sometimes you have special requests, and
I have the back of house, like Wi-Fi, so I can tap into that. But other friends I know, they'll just like hotspot off their phone, and it's good enough to use.
I've seen DJs use it straight off their Serato and like download the Beatport Top 100, and it's like magic. It's just right there.
I use it for me, like in playing places like say Marquee Tower, any big places places where you have a host or a manager that'll come up to you and is like, hey, listen, this guy is spending this amount of money. He wants to hear this song, and you don't have it. It might be something crazy, something that totally doesn't work for the club, but it's like they want to hear it. And so for those type of things, it's huge because you can get it right there and be able to play it.
No, I think it's really going to be, it is the eventuality.
I'm curious on the timeline. Like, how long is it going to take?
I don't think very long.
Well, I think the migration of Serato took 2 to 3 years mainstream, so I think it'll be the same.
I wonder. The only instance where I see it being something that's very beneficial is when you're describing. Like when someone asks you for a song, maybe it's not even a bottle spender, but a patron it comes up and says, hey, would you be able to play this song, please? And like, I don't know what that is. It's like, but give me 1 second. And then look it up, and then there it is. Now, is that beneficial for the entire night? No, because if you're constantly doing that, you're screening music as you're playing music.
It just fucks your vibe up.
Yeah.
Well, but there's also the locker feature where you're basically doing what we're describing live, but you're doing it behind the scenes. It's the way we download MP3s
So
right now.
basically
You're still
just the same thing we're doing now.
But all you have to do is log in, because eventually there's going to be appliances that will have your profile in the system. You don't even need a USB anymore. You just type in your password, and your whole locker opens up.
That's insane.
That's wild, but to think of. But you can totally see it go in that direction with how fast
it's all cloud based.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think you literally just have to show up with your headphones, not even USB and headphones.
Just think about DJing in 2015 and 10 years from that. How just fast forward, it's when in 10 years of DJing.
That's 10 years ago? It feels like 3.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not, but we've already made leaps and bounds in just a small.
But I'm doing the same thing that I was doing in 2015 as far as my workflow of downloading music. Yeah. I'm still doing that today. Mm-hmm. So this is a huge threshold. I look at it like it is going to be something that I will be using and employing as my workflow. But, this is where the middle school kicks in again. I still I like having my MP3s that made me, quote unquote, unique. Yeah. But then we're going to have all this awesome music instantly available to us. So there's going to be this balance in this evolution.
There's also a gap because you can't get DJ DeVille edits off of, or specific, I don't want to target.
You're getting like the 12-inch version of it. And so that's the other part. It's like.
But that's going to change.
That's going to change, obviously.
It's changing already.
I think Beat Source does have, some of their
they
stuff
started
has
with
intros.
with the exclusives, and we're talking to them a little bit and trying to see how we can make things work. And just because I know for a fact that DJ culture is shifting and it's going to evolve, and I want to be part of it, right? So I'm just kind of curious. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on how long do you think it's going to take
to get to like full streaming for everybody?
Yeah,
yes.
Like where it's just the default.
I would say
under 5 years. When you think
I would say about 5, like give or take
by 2030. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
And that's where how does that affect DJ value? I'm really curious to see how to kind of bookend that. How is that's something we just need to think about. We don't have the answers right now, but we will know. And
if it does go digital like that, will it start to know your playlists and see that, and then be able to
smart crates
suggest and smart crates that backwards, and basically what you have our MP3s that you have, your playlists that you have are yours on your computer. But when you start to put that into the world, you don't think that they're going to take a look at those algorithms and think okay, hey, this was Konflikt set, this is Eric Forbes set, this is DeVille's set,
and they're going to know,
and they're going to see, okay, this is and it's that could be all computer generated to make these.
No,
crazy
think about this. When you guys go back on a Wi-Fi, if you guys are using Rekordbox or Serato, whatever it may be, it's going to upload. They're going to know exactly what you played that night.
Mm-hmm. Where now it's like our own little vault, our computer.
Yeah, you have to make sure you click "Do not share my information."
Yeah. Well, then you can't use it if you don't share that information.
Yeah.
Just like your phone, right?
Yeah, musicians want to know what DJs like that. We have been the gray area for a very long time for musicians and labels. They never know how much we spin records.
As much as I'm practical and logical about a lot of the stuff that I do, there's little part of me that has this artistic emo person in there that's no, the art's important. So I think paintbrushes and paint are available at every store, every Target, and every place, right? But it doesn't make you an artist because you have accessibility to these now cheap and easy to access things that hundreds of years ago was oh, you have the color blue? Whoa, you could put that on canvas? It was something that was reserved for very rich painters, right? So now looking at it, I hope that there's a comparison where it's everyone can be a DJ. Everyone has been able to be a DJ with a couple $100, right? Yeah. How much will it change things? The artist in me says hopefully not too much.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, technology is our friend and our foe in very many interesting ways. So,
but it's gonna happen regardless.
Yeah,
that's true. There will be a paintbrush in every computer to be a DJ. But how much will that change the business of DJing? That remains to be seen.
Yes, and I think that's I'm going to watch it very carefully. But guys, I really appreciate this conversation because we all see this from a different lens, but we all have a lot of experience, and I really appreciate these conversations. So once again, I want to thank all you guys for being on coming to the table once again. Late Night Legends. So I want to thank Konflikt for coming through again. Eric Forbes, Alex Dreams, and myself, DJ DeVille. Shout out to Kellen, the producer.
Kellen Grady.
We appreciate you, and we'll see you on the next one. Late Night Legends.
Late Night Legends. Late Night Legends. Direct from Vegas, it's the Late Night Legends. Late Night Legends. Late Night Legends. Club Killers, let's go.